What is teaching? Traditionally, this is what it looks like. The teacher is the master of information and as such is responsible for disseminating that information to the minds of the student. By its very nature, this unidirectional flow of information conditions students as passive receivers of information, and as students we naturally disengage. It's time to change that paradigm. Typically, teachers teach to students. What if teachers teach with students? So what does that look like? Well, for starters, it includes student voice. Students are the most important and least consulted stakeholders in education, and the simple step forward is creating a space for students to share feedback and share voices on their own education. This feedback mechanism is the reciprocal cycle that fosters enhanced teaching and learning practices. The last stage is what we call co-creation. Co-creation is when students and teachers absolve traditional role schema and collaborate as true partners in the teaching and learning process. In co-creation, each stakeholder brings something of unique value to the table, and through collaboration, they're able to produce something far beyond what either could have produced individually. What does co-creation look like in practice? We've designed a platform for students to co-create their own educational experiences with what we call the Learning Advisory Committee. Each student has his or her own Learning Advisory Committee, comprised of teachers, mentors, parents, and coaches, to advise the learner in how he or she actually goes about creating their own education. As a result, the student is free to co-create their learning experiences in collaboration with their Learning Advisory Committee. This give and take places students at the center of their own education, but bolsters them with the support of a dedicated team of people who care. They'll also encourage personal growth. This allows for students to design their own education while still operating under the advisory of their Learning Advisory Committee. So here's what it would look like in practice. A group of high school and middle school girls set out to connect two pedestrian walkways by building a bridge in our local community. As they think about building that bridge, they co-create curricula with their Learning Advisory Committee to drive their project forward. Some key learning objectives could include an understanding of the ecosystem and environment of the riverbank, the mathematics required to form the structures needed, the engineering problem-solving process, teamwork and collaboration, and then of course the build itself. We're giving them the guidance and time to approach learning in a whole new way through context-based learning experiences. Another example would be that of a student entrepreneur. This particular student has recognized a problem in his own life. He's a baseball pitcher and needs to be able to correct his pitch, but he can't quite tell if it's always in the strike zone. So he develops a project, co-designed by some of the teachers on his Learning Advisory Committee. And this project is simple: to prototype his idea for improving his pitching experience. He goes on to pitch his idea at a local startup weekend, learning powerful public speaking skills. Under the mentorship of his teacher, he learns the mathematics and code necessary to actually build a prototype. And then he builds it, and guess what? It works. He continues on to actually file for a patent as a teenager, having to push his writing skills to the limit. He goes on to incorporate his venture and actually launch a startup, where he manages the financials and actually makes money. So let's explore what's happening within the brain. The adolescent brain is constantly growing, and as it does so, it aggregates dots on what you could call its knowledge map. In traditional schooling, these dots might be arbitrary facts and figures, and simply things that students don't care about. In our model, the dots we collect are 100% relevant to the student, because they are delivered through context-based learning opportunities that are of specific interest to the youth. These dots include content such as mathematics or coding, as well as skills such as teamwork and problem solving. Our learning map goes a step further. Not only are we collecting better dots, but we're connecting them. And it's all about connection. Connection to the real world, connection to people who care, and connecting of the dots themselves, building a beautiful learning constellation. And like a snowflake, every student's learning constellation is unique. With this model for teaching and learning, we are actually able to grow the students by putting them at the center of their own education. Connext, student-designed district back, a new theory of change for education.